I've seen cases of really successful unschooling, and I've seen cases that went wrong. Here's the difference. The worst case of unschooling that I ever saw was a single mom, and she let her son get addicted to video games. If your kids are addicted to video games, it's your fault. It's your fault. They're still kids. They are under your care. If I am counseling a child and they're still under the care of their parents, there's not much I can do for them because they're in the process of currently still being traumatized by their parents. So while your kids live with you, they are under your care. So if they are addicted to something, if they are having mental health problems, you need to do work on yourself as a parent because that falls on you. You're traumatizing your kids. Okay, the best case scenario that I saw of unschooling was a family in rural California living in a small community. And in this community, a lot of the people grew marijuana. And these parents also did. And the kids said that that was kind of they had to lie about that. They had to tell people that their dad was a builder and their mom was an herbalist. But these kids turned out great, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I saw when I was there. So the boy was the youngest, and he was maybe 9 when I saw him, and he was always riding around on his mountain bike, and he knew how to assemble and disassemble his mountain bike, and he would ride all around on it. And the schoolwork that they were required to do really only took a couple hours a day. So they would just do the basics, do the schoolwork. It's not a big deal. Just do the schoolwork. And then spend the rest of the day riding around on the bike, playing with friends. Him and his friends were really good at music. They would create their own beats and be like recording music in their little recording studio. Then they had a 15-year-old daughter. The 15-year-old daughter knew how to plant food, harvest food, and she was a really good cook. She was into cooking, so she could cook a meal for like 10 people. And in the marijuana community, they always bring in like trimmigrants. You bring during the harvest season, you bring in people from other countries or other places to help process the weed. So they would sometimes be hosting international friends and things like that. And this 15-year-old girl could cook a meal for 15 people. And she was very well adapted. She knew about different cultures and yeah, it was nice. The oldest daughter was 18 and she had taught herself the accordion. She was getting ready to go off to college in Oregon. And she also loved making her own clothes. And the parents had encouraged and empowered each of the kids to learn whatever they were naturally interested in, and not just in like a hobby way, but in a way where they could actually help themselves and help others, cook a meal for others, or, build your friend a bike, or, sustain yourself through making clothes or something. So it wasn't just like a meaningless hobby, it was a skill. And I see the new earth being a lot more similar to that. Most of the stuff that we're learning in school is really just geared towards preparing us to be slaves. And the amount of mental health crises that are happening right now in America are a result of a dysfunctional system and more brilliant, bright souls coming in that are coming to build the new earth, that are trying to be funneled into a super broken system that's meant to keep us enslaved. So we need to think about what kind of village do we really want to build? What's important to us? What's actually helpful? Because something I see a lot of parents do is they put their kids in hobbies that are kind of meaningless without actually teaching them about real service to the community or like plugging them in with anything more meaningful. Kids are really longing for meaning. If like the shoes that you buy them, the new shoes are not going to give them long-term happiness. However, teaching them how to serve others, how to be kind, how to make a contribution to their community is going to bring them great intrinsic joy and satisfaction. So we need to be thinking in terms of, what do we want to build? We are the builders. What do we want to create? Dream through your heart. Ask yourself open-ended questions. What would it be like to live in a community where I feel great every day, where I feel empowered, and where I can share my gifts, and my gifts are honored and appreciated and reciprocated, and that we're all supporting each other? So dream into that and encourage your children to do meaningful things for themselves and others. And it's important to incorporate rituals and rites of passage too, which I talk about in some of my other videos. So we are building the new earth. We're not going back to, the old system is completely crumbling. And then we're not going back to do it exactly how our ancestors did it. But we are moving forward and we are creating something new. So what do we want to create? We need to incorporate caring for the earth. We need to incorporate managing resources in a sustainable way, having food sovereignty, having everything sovereignty. So what kind of gifts and skills do you actually bring to the table? And we need to think outside of the box for this, because we've been trained to only value like masculine skills or mathematical skills or banking skills or scientific skills. But even just being able to, maybe your skill is empathy, or maybe your skill is caring for others. Maybe your skill is attention to detail. Maybe your skill is that you're really good at listening. Maybe your skill is that you like carrying heavy things. Maybe your skill is that, you know, you don't follow the rules and you think outside of the box. So every skill is needed, not just the skills that they have trained us to hyper focus on in a broken in the box system. All skills are needed. All skills are welcome. And we have to put all of our skills together and build the new earth.